For some people, home has a really negative connotation, and that's okay. That's why we do this kind of work, because we get to change the meaning of those very intense and powerful words. So I am reminded that ironically, on page 333 and paragraph 3, Ernest Holmes wrote that all the mystics have taught three things. That we're all on a journey of self-discovery, that is self-exploration, and you can capitalize that S. That all roads, in his words, lead to the Father's house. And finally, we all make it home. And so that's what that song had me remembering, that we're okay. We're gonna make it. All of us have the choice to arrive at the Father's house in our own time and let it mean whatever it means to us individually. What we don't have a choice about is that we're always going to, the story always ends with, and they lived happily ever after in the Father's house, or in nirvana, or they awoke, or however you want to say it, whatever metaphor works for you. And I often get asked, can I use this teaching for selfish reasons? And honestly, the answer is no. If they are truly selfish and you're not worried about what happens to other people as a result of your behavior, it's going to backfire on you. It will not last. If you just think you're being selfish and what you're really doing is raising everyone up, then those aren't really selfish reasons. And absolutely, yes, you will be using it for those reasons. What I often see, and what saddens me, and it saddens me when I do it to myself as well, is people who will not accept all of the good that's available to them. People who, or when I look around my life and think, is this all there is? The answer is always going to be no. This is not all there is. There can be more. And it can be really frustrating to try and figure out why I can't manifest the things I say I want to manifest. In our textbook, which we call The Science of Mind, it says, how much can one demonstrate? And by demonstrate, we mean an answered prayer is a demonstration. How much can one demonstrate? Just what one can believe. Just what one can believe. Whatever that is, that much we can have. So if we can choose to believe that healing and happiness and good for everyone is available, it could happen, and we can have that. If we can believe that there's enough love in the world, that there's some there for us, and greater amounts, we're magnetizing ourselves to greater and greater amounts, then that too can happen. But when we put other things in front of it, when we don't believe we deserve it, or we don't believe it's possible, or we think we have to earn it all, yeah, everybody has probably been told at some point, you have to go out there and earn it. Money doesn't grow on trees. Technically, paper, I'm just saying. There's a story in the book of Matthew. The kingdom of heaven may be compared to a king who gave a wedding feast for his son and sent his servants to call all those who were invited to the wedding feast, but they wouldn't come. Again, he sent other servants saying, tell all those who are invited, see, I have prepared my dinner, my oxen and my fat calves have been slaughtered, and everything is ready. Come to the wedding feast. But they paid no attention and went off, one to his farm and another to his business. Now, I didn't happen to write down the rest of the story, but as I remember, the people who ended up getting to go to the wedding feast were the ones who said yes to the invitation. And they were not the people who were originally invited. See, we all get invited to that feast. We all get invited into a celebration of unity. Not everyone says yes. Some people think they have to work that day. Some people think that, if they just sit around partying, that nothing will ever get done. And at a physical level, yes, there's some truth to that. But at the spiritual level, we get to accept good. One of the things we teach is that it is done unto us according to our belief. So if we believe in the power of love and we believe that good is coming from this, whatever this might be, it is done unto us according to that belief, not by us. Ours is to hold the vision. Ours is to remember what we want. And let spirit, let the power of love itself rise up and make it so. Now we have to cooperate. We can't say we want, I don't know, to have the Buddha as a roommate and then never allow anyone to move in with us. We have to actually accept the good when it shows up. And so when people are new to this teaching, we teach how to manifest good. That's what we start with. And actually, we begin with stuff because, that's the easiest place to start because you can see that it worked. So we call this the princes, palaces, and parking places, or princesses, it's up to you, palaces and parking places level of manifestation. We start by saying, oh, I need a home, and all of a sudden this wonderful home shows up for us. We might start a little earlier or more easily than that and just start with, okay, God, if you're really there, I need a parking space. I'm going to trust that there's infinite space in the universe and there's space for me in the perfect place. And so we start with that and we start saying that, of course, there's a spot for us. Of course, there's love for us. Of course, there's a home for us. And we start making things happen. We say that prayer changes things. It doesn't change God. The God energy, whatever you want to call it, that infinite good was always available and always right there to give. What changes are the things we're willing to accept. Many people talk about if you're going down to a fountain of good or an ocean of good, what size bucket are you going to bring? Are you going to bring a thimble? Are you going to bring a little Tupperware container? You got to bring a massive oaken bucket that you have to drag? As you get more and more used to this stuff, I would suggest to you that you will learn to bring a bathing suit and just stay in that water and splash around in all of that good. We don't have to carry it off with us anymore. We don't have to limit ourselves to one small amount. And as a matter of fact, that whole princes, palaces, and parking places phase only lasts a little while because of something that psychologists will call the hedonic treadmill. The hedonic treadmill is where you get something good and it's thrilling and it's wonderful and there's nothing wrong with that. But that thrill only lasts a little while. And after a while, it becomes more painful to lose that thing than good has been wrung out of it. And this is not a new idea by any stretch of the imagination. In 1754, Jean-Jacques Rousseau wrote, and we'll have to untangle this because the language is old-fashioned, since these conveniences, by becoming habitual, had almost entirely ceased to be enjoyable, and at the same time degenerated into true needs, it became much more cruel to be deprived of them than to possess them was sweet, and men were unhappy to lose them without being happy to possess them. This is kind of George Carlin's thing about stuff. We all end up with a ton of stuff that we think we need, and then we have to go get a bigger house to hold more stuff. And eventually the stuff owns us, and it's not making us happy. This is why all of the faiths and all of the mystics especially warned against being materialistic. This stuff is not bad. It just won't do what you think it's going to do, which is make you happy and satisfy you. So there's another level of manifestation. And this is where things get really, really good. This is what we want to get to. And most of us get to it pretty quick because that sense of, oh, well, that was fun, parking space. Of course I got a parking space. I have a bill come in. Of course, a check for the same amount is going to show up within a few days. That's not surprising anymore. I budget for that. That's in my budget. It's what I expect to happen now because I've been doing this long enough. So the entry level manifestation is fun. It's okay, but it ain't the whole shebang. So, and there's the mastery level that all of us are working toward. Even if we have mostly gotten there, there's always more to get into. It gets even better. This is where things get really good. And if you read David Spangler's The Laws of Manifestation, he says it very well. He wrote, "We are not training you in manifestation. We're training you to recognize manifestation." There's quite a difference. We're not training you to be able to produce things. We are training you to recognize the eternal process of production that is all about you so that you can do it because you are it. We are not training you in manifestation. We are training you to recognize it. Not to make things happen, but to recognize that this is a natural law that is going on all the time. And we are part of the process. And it's no longer something out there giving us something we think we need in order to be okay. We start recognizing and waking up to the idea that the divine within us, the outermost God and the innermost God, are the same God. And that love and that joy and that all of that good that we're magnetizing ourselves to, all of that is us. And so the process of manifestation is going on all the time. And all we have to do is point them out. Ooh, look, there's another miracle. Ooh, look, there's another miracle. I'll take that. I'll celebrate that. And there's so much of it I can share. There's so much of it that never even occurs to me that I have to bring a Tupperware thing with a lid that'll get there on tight so nothing leaks out. There's so much good to have and to be and to share that it becomes kind of a game. The new game is, can I give it away faster than God within me can create it? The answer is no, but it's fun to try. And so another thing that we say is from a book called Financial Success by a gentleman by the name of Wallace Wattles, who has a fun name to say. But he published this in 1910. In 1910, we knew people must be taught to become rich by creation, not by competition. Let me say that again. People must be taught to become rich by cooperation, not by competition. We don't get rich by competing and making sure that we have and because others don't. The only way for us to be truly rich, to understand real wealth, is to cooperate with people. And my favorite president, Tom Kimberly, my favorite current president, Tom Kimberly, actually says that when he was in business in California, one of the things that he and his compatriots said was, I will never do a deal so big that I can quit and get rich. I can never steal a deal or steal from a customer so well that I get to retire on it. But if we all work together, we make each other rich. And then we can all retire together and it will actually be fun. That is how Tom Kimberly, it's a paraphrase of how Tom Kimberly says it. And I shared that with his permission. The rest of the Wallace Wattles quotation is that every person who becomes rich by competition throws down behind them the ladder by which they rise and keeps others down. But every person who gets rich by creation opens a way for thousands to follow them and inspires them to do so. So if you are truly demonstrating the way we teach manifestation, you will find that other people are being raised up by the work that you do. This is what is ours to do in this country right now. Yes, we still have a pandemic going on, and yes, the numbers would suggest to you it's getting worse. This is what I know. A fever, as it gets higher, is working harder and harder to burn that which does not serve the body out of the body. And Viktor Frankl said, those who would shine must endure burning. And so this is our burning time. We are burning away which has not worked for us, whether it's uh, stuff in our closets that everybody, it seems like, is clearing out, or whether it's a virus that does not add to our well-being. What we're doing is letting go of that which no longer serves. And that has been going on for hundreds of years, apparently, according to what I'm reading. This is the teaching that has been under the name of science of mind for the past 100 years, but has been taught under many, many years, is being taught under many, many names already. We let go of that which does not serve the whole, and we learn how to manifest better by making sure that everybody's winning, by making sure that our lives are enriched in ways that aren't about competition, but about creation. And that's a subtle difference sometimes. Most of us have been taught to compete. That's a very American thing. It is time now to remember that what we were taught in kindergarten about sharing, about being kind. If you forget, then when we get back into our building, you can look up the guidelines for behaviors that our kids wrote for the Children's Association of Awesomeness. They wrote their own contract with each other. And if you ever forget how to make things good, how to manifest happiness, then that is where we go back to the simple rules that say, only when we all win does anybody win. We do that through our tools of manifestation, which include prayer. And so I'm going into prayer right now, and I invite you to join me, to allow yourself to be magnetized to a greater good, to a bigger experience of the divine, a more accurate experience of God. And so go within right now in whatever way works for you, whether you close your eyes, whether you stand up or kneel down, it does not matter to me. But know with me right now the absolute truth of our being, that this thing we call God truly is all there is. We are awash in a universe that is the body of God itself. We are filled up, indwelt, and surrounded by infinite love. That energy of love is the energy of life itself and exists everywhere in everyone, right here and now, in this very moment. And that is what we call God, by many, many different names. The truth of our being is the truth of that oneness, the truth of that absolute loving good that is an inexhaustible source of good. And so in this moment, as I recognize my oneness and the oneness of all beings, I speak my word for all sentient beings ever. Right here, right now, I know and claim that since we are all part of spirit, we are all part of that good. We are joined at the soul level by this very love. We are joined at the physical level, sharing a planet. We are joined at the heart and soul level, and we can never lose that. So we are not alone. We are not alone in anything. We are all one. And so all the good of the universe is available to us right now. And on behalf of all of us, I say yes and accept the invitation to the great wedding feast. I say yes to God, saying, please show up in my life all over the places, palaces and parking places, and the love of friends and the unity of this nation and the oneness of all life. And as I stand in the actual truth that has always been, all of that simply is done unto me and unto all beings, because it's the truth of all beings. I celebrate this good. I am so grateful that this is what spirit is, what spirit has always been and will always be, and it is moving into more obvious manifestation right here and now. And resting in that, I release this word of prayer to the law of cause and effect, or the law of attraction. And I let it all be, and so it is.
We let the love over us. We let it be. We let the grace wash over us. Oh, we let it be. We let the love wash over us. We let it be. Oh, we let the joy wash over us. We let it be. We let the grace wash over us. We let it be.
Thank you so much. And as we let that grace and that love and that joy wash over us, we also allow it to pour through us. This month, we are talking about being compassionate conduits. And so there's so much good that we just let it come into us and flow back out. And so in this moment, I invite you to consider what you would like to tell the universe you want more of in your life. And we do that with our tithes and offerings. When we make a gift to our center, when we make a gift to the world, when we allow that good to flow through us and back out into the world, what we're doing, how we aim that gift, is how we tell the universe this. I want more of this. I want more of this kind of good. And of course, the universe says yes. And so as we make our offering, we do it the conscious way. There is a telephone number that you can text a tithe to, and there's you can also just give through our website. All of that is scrolling across the bottom right now. But we do all of this consciously, and so I ask you to hold your hand over your heart as we say the dedication of the offering. Divine love in and through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, light.